All right, welcome back to round two of the Bauer Airless paint sprayer found at Harbor Freight. As you can see in the last video, which I'll put a link above, or maybe it's over here, either way, didn't go that great. Every time I went to spray, it kept cutting out on me. I've tried it several times. It's almost like it wouldn't prime correctly, like it wouldn't hold the prime, I should say. So I reached out on both YouTube and Facebook asking people like, hey, do you have any ideas or suggestions? And I had a few people who had other 20-volt airless sprayers. And I had somebody reach out who actually bought this one and said you definitely have to thin your paint. So I just wanted to go over a few things that I'm implementing in today's video, and we're gonna see if that works better and go from there. Now, first of all, pretty much every sprayer I've ever seen, and this one included, has that filter. So a lot of times if you pour just straight paint into a cup, if you have something that's like a little blob or whatever, it's gonna get stuck here before it ever reaches into your tip. And that's where most clogs will happen in a tip, is if there's some sort of paint or a particle that passes through. But this is usually, this catches it in the filter. Now, like for my Graco X5, it's a lot more powerful than say a 20 volt. So a lot of stuff probably just blows through and I never noticed it. I've always used straight paint, never thinned, never filtered through or anything, or strained I should say. And it's been fine. Now, a couple of great comments. One person said use a larger tip. Well, these come with two tips already. And I felt like if I had to go buy an extra one, it should already work straight out of that package. So I do have the larger of the two tips on here, which is the 514, which is what I used in my last video. I did go and buy the 519, which is the largest one they make. I'm also going to put that in later in the video if I have to. So first thing first, I went out. This is kind of like painting a car almost, where you're thinning out your paint. I've never had to do this before, but again, being a 20 volt, we're going to give this a try like people had suggested. So this is a 32 ounce cup in here. So I filled it up to this, probably about, you'll see like 1 liter is, I'm sorry, let me turn this around. 1 quart is 32 ounces, which is the cup. I filled it up to roughly 28 ounces and then did a couple ounces, 4 ounces of water, mixed it up really good. And you can see how much thinner that is. I'm hoping that will solve the problem. And then next thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go ahead and strain my paint. So I got these paint strainers. They actually sell these up at Harbor Freight. You get 100 of them for like $9. They're on sale, so I got them for like $6 something. So I'm gonna go ahead and just strain the paint through here. And that'll probably just take a few minutes till it all goes through. I'll just let it do its thing. That way any imperfections in the paint are going to be sifted out basically. I want this test to go as best as possible, and if it doesn't, I basically tried everything I was told from other people. Hopefully you didn't hear all that. I'm like near a main road, so all you hear is cars and stuff going through. So we're gonna let this strain out a little bit. And while we're doing that, I'll just tell you a few other things. Like I said, I made sure this was 100% really clean. And one thing that I found too, the initial cleaning says to use, I can't remember right now. I don't have the box in front of me. It says you can use like wasn't a thinner, mineral spirits I think it was. Maybe I'll put a little thing up above saying what you clean it with. But I found this warm water works best. I filled the cup with warm water and it really cleans this a lot better. The mineral spirits doesn't really do anything against water-based paint. So just use, when you're cleaning this, just use warmer water and it clears out really easy. Any of the paint residue comes right off. So we'll let this strain through. I'm gonna go prime the gun. Same test as last time. I have my piece of trim, I have a piece of plywood standing vertical, and then I have that door. We're not trying for perfection, because I know somebody mentioned like I wasn't holding my gun straight down. I was just trying to do quick to see how it sprayed. I wasn't really trying to like I was at an angle. Obviously that's going to put more thickness as the first spot compared to farther away. I'll fan it out. I just wanted to see how it kind of sprayed and go from there. Today I'll try doing a little bit more professional, you know, doing it correctly. That way we can see what kind of finish it puts down on both the trim and the door. Again, these are all old things. I'm just throwing away when I'm done. I had leftover from when I worked on the house. So we're gonna let this strain through, and then we're gonna go ahead and start spraying and see how it works after the suggestions that were given to me. And hopefully we'll have a much better result. So I guess I talked enough, right? But I just want to, you know, I want people to understand like what is going on with this, because I'll be honest, the instructions are very lacking. Bauer should definitely do some updates to the instructions, because I'll show you a few things. So right here is where the air valve is. So when you have the cup, you squeeze it, air will come out of here, and then you close this part here, and that way when you go to prime it, so to prime it, leave it in this position, straight forward, you turn it upside down like this, and just do like 1, 2. That's it. That's enough to take a little bit of the air out. When you're ready to start spraying, you point it down. And in the photos, they have it like off center a little bit, so I just leave it right there. And that's just how, in the instructions, they don't tell you like which way is open, which way is closed. It's just that they act like you're supposed to know which is which. So again, as soon as I'm ready for this, we'll go and walk through this. I just wanted you to understand completely how to operate this as well, because the instructions are very lacking and they kind of leave you guessing a little bit. So let's go ahead, and we're almost done straining that. Put like a little bit more in here. As soon as this is done, I'm going to load up this gun and go ahead and start spraying the door. So we'll be right back really soon. I think we got a little time left. The sun's starting to set. And again, unlike last time, there is no wind today, so I don't have to worry about all that overspray that I got all over me last time. If you would have seen my clothes, you've been laughing. But I just wanted to get that video out there so you could see, you know, how that gun was working and things of that nature. Okay, so in the instructions, it kind of tells you to land on its side, but you really never get all the air out. So all I did is take that out, and you start to squeeze, and you'll hear the air. And there's actually quite a lot, even though you fill up that cup a lot of the way, because till it starts to fill in the reservoir above. Now if you lay this on the side, there's a lot of air left over. Okay, you can hear the air pretty much stopped right there. And now you can tip it on the side. And you'll see that the paint will start to come into there, and press down on the seal right here. Make sure it's good. Now I'm gonna do this over here so I don't get over my driveway. Okay, real quick, upside down. Okay, I point this down. All right, that's a good sign. Oh yeah, one other thing. I had a comment. He told me always put on the second one. There's a lot more power that comes out of that. Instead of having it on the first one, have it on the second. So you see that second, that's more pressure. So especially with a little bit thicker paint. We'll try it on 1 too to see how it works, but just wanted to give you an idea there too. So we're pretty much good to go. And let's get started here before that sun is setting. Let's try that piece of trim first. Adjust my camera here. Okay, Hopefully this goes much better last time. Actually a lot better. So test number 1 went really well. I'm going to put this on speed number 1 now and see how that performs on the door. So obviously I painted over black, that'll need 2 coats. But I think we might be on to something here. So appreciate all the comments out there, that was very helpful. So hopefully it'll help the viewers too, as they buy their first Bauer sprayer. But before we get too far, let's make sure this works good on the door. I'm going to do from this side here, and this is on the number 1 setting now. Well, again, the power of the internet. So thank you to everybody who, just like I said, who helped out, left a comment, gave some suggestions. I am using the 514 tip, which is the larger of the 2, but you can see I just sprayed that really easy, and it's going good. Let me finish up this other side here, and we'll see if we have any issues whatsoever. And you can see this time around, I'm not having any issues with the bag, in terms of, before I kept getting air come inside. And off video, I actually like double checked this a lot of times, and I couldn't figure out, what was going on. Like I ran it through like a lot of times. Off video, it's not like it was one video shoot there. I probably tried this thing like 15 times. I kept having issues. So let me go ahead and spray this side now. All right, I'm going to take back what I said before. Now that got all the kinks out of this, I think it's working pretty good. It's laying down a nice even coat. Again, I just went 1 coat over black, and you can see how nice it laid. So another coat, and this will actually look really good if I was actually going to use this door. So let's go over to the plywood. This was the test that actually worked good last time. So get my camera set up here. Okay, this was the one test that actually worked really well last time. So all I'm going to do here is change the tip setting. All you have to do is turn it. It's that easy. And let's go ahead and do that now. All right, worked really well. So let me get out of the sun here so you can see me. All right, so what did we learn here today? Definitely a lot of different things. So number 1, strain your paint. That's going to get out any imperfections that might clog this up. Even if you have a filter, it's still going to clog, so strain it. First things first is you got to thin it out. Now I was using a different kind of paint. This is just a Valspar, which is a little bit thinner already. So you're going to probably have to play around with the thickness of the paint. If you don't want to just use the 514 tip, like I said, I went out and bought a 519. I'm not even going to test this now because I already thinned out my paint. I might do another video where I run straight paint out of the can, and it's thicker. So that way maybe I can use that one without thinning it. But that's a video for another day. How's that sound? But at least I can let you know this is working now. So I thinned it, I strained it, and I kept it on speed 1, but speed 2 does put out more paint and have more pressure. So yeah, that did work well. So let's go ahead and just kind of show you too. Just a little hard to see, but just first coat. Actually sprayed pretty even. And then same with this over here. This one being plywood's more porous, so I probably need 2 coats on that. But again, it went on pretty even and smooth. So I hope this part 2 was valuable in showing you procedure. I'm probably going to make another video. I just wanted to get this one out because I know people are waiting for this video in particular, showing it actually working. I wasn't sure if it was going to work today, but those 3 tests, it's obviously working. So I don't think I have to really do any more tests as far as does it work right, but I'll show you through each step of the way. That way, if you have any problems if you go and buy one and set it up, you'll know what to do and what not to do. One thing I did at the beginning, when you first go to prime this, I had it turn straight forward. And one thing I noticed is, so you're doing that upside down, and when you actually go to spray, you're holding it up and you changed it to this position. Sometimes it doesn't come out right away. So all you do is flip this up, try to spray. It kind of builds up a little pressure, drop it, and it'll start spraying instantly for you. And I'm using a 5 amp hour battery because I know somebody asked about that before. I have a 1.5 amp hour in there too, and it works just fine. I think if you're doing little projects, I'd probably just do the 1.5 amp hour, because I noticed it does add a little weight to this. It kind of makes it, want to come back, and I think that's why in the last video I ended up being like this, because that battery kind of weighs it back a little. But all in all, for $170, I guess this is going to be pretty good. Again, I just did a quick 5-minute test. I want to do this long term, so maybe in 6 months I'll come back, let you know how everything's holding up. And then one thing about these guns too is the pump has a life on it. Like, it might be only good for 2 years and then it will die. So I know sometimes with the other brands they have replacement pumps, but for the price of this is going to be, I paid $170 compared to $900 for the top of the line other one. So I guess you have to figure out, like, are you going to use this all the time? Are you an occasional user? And see if it fits your needs. And I'll use this maybe once a month or so when I'm working on a house. So I didn't have to get the high-end one. I might buy one just to test it against this to see what the differences are, and maybe that'll be helpful for you. So I hope you enjoyed this part 2. I was trying to go over everything I can kind of think of that will better help you run the gun, and also even if you're choosing on buying it. Now that I have all the kinks out, I think it's going to be a half decent sprayer. So as you can see, we went over this door, and let me just do it one more time, just because I've been sitting here a little bit. Let me see if it clogged up or anything of that nature. Let me just do one more coat over it. I gotta fix my camera again. All right, I think it's pretty safe to say it's finally working the way it's supposed to. So, as of right now, I think we're good. I think I can safely recommend this to you now that I worked out the kinks, thanks to the viewers of both YouTube and Facebook. Thank you again for leaving comments, giving ideas. So we're going to I'll do a walkthrough completely from start to finish so you can set up your sprayer correctly, since the instructions are not the greatest. And maybe I'll do a test in 6 months and maybe a year, just to let you know how this is holding up. Because if you're going to spend 170, you hope it's going to hold up for, you know, a period of time. So thanks again for watching. I have a lot more videos coming out. Hopefully you enjoyed this. And this one's been more of an experience for me because I never really had a tool fail straight out of the package. But now that I know how to properly set this up, it is working correctly, and so far so good. So thanks again for watching. We'll see you soon.